And what's happening, Cincinnati Soccer Talkers? That's right, Cincinnati Soccer Talk coming at you here live on Facebook, on our website, CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. Episode 54 of the podcast coming at you this week. We just keep lining them up and we keep bringing them at you. This week, we're going to be joined by FC Cincinnati head coach Alan Koch. That's right, to get his thoughts on the preseason, how camp has gone so far, what he's looking forward to most coming up on their big game out west when they take on Sacramento Republic. We've got Bill Wolf back with us this week to get his thoughts on his lovely trip down to Bradenton, Florida. He had a great opportunity to catch up with a lot of new faces among FC Cincinnati, so it'll be good to get his thoughts on the week that was. And, of course, we'll look ahead to a busy weekend for FC Cincinnati fans here in the Queen City. We've got a watch party that's happening Saturday. I think Bachfest is going on this weekend as well. It should be a good time. And, of course, we've got all kinds to get to here on our podcast. You can always get in touch with us via email, cincysoccertalk@spnt.tv. You can hit us up on the phone lines as well tonight, 513-399-KICK. Before we get to all that, this episode is brought to you by the Women's Fund of the Greater Cincinnati Foundation. Get your tickets today to see Abby Wambach speak on March 25th. Man, it's March 1st already. It's this month. Go get your tickets now to see Abby Wambach speak at the Northern Kentucky Convention Center on March 25th. Tickets are on sale now. CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/Abby. Captains. All right, our episode captain this week is Joseph Lee James. Joseph, appreciate the support here you've given us on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. If you want to become an episode captain, log on to CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/support. Let's welcome back our main man. He's the injured. He's on the DL right now, but he's playing through the pain. Brian Weigel, welcome back, buddy.
You could say that. Had to have a nice little surgery procedure done last Tuesday. So glad to be back here and glad to be off them pain meds and actually be able to watch coherently an FC Cincinnati match.
The strap you've got there on your shoulder and on your chest is not for look. I mean, that's a necessity.
It's called an immobilizer. So yeah, running everything with a left-handed setup tonight. So it's gonna be fun. Bear with me here.
Well, we're glad to have you back and glad to see things are going well with your surgery and that you've got your spirits, which is the most important thing.
My question to you is, now that I'm officially kind of on the DL, 12 to 16 weeks of rehab, do you think Joseph's going to make me paint up that first match?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a tough one.
He's not here. He's not here to say anything about it, so I'm going to say I have a little bit of a reprieve.
I think you still should do it. If you're still in the sling, then maybe not. But we're going to still hold you to that. There's no question about it.
Yeah. So Bill, sorry I'm not letting him get the intro here, but already off the bat, Corey Finneran has noticed a change to the podcast as well. Subs, you got a nice little haircut there. The quote is, Subs has no hair.
Yeah, she cut it a little short today. I was sitting in the chair, and it was a different person who normally cuts my hair. And I don't know why. I just assumed when I told her how I wanted it done that, yeah, and then you can see what ended up happening. It's all pretty much gone.
You're looking fresh, man. You're looking fresh.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It helps that I shave, too. I've got the baby face going on tonight as well. So. Thank you, Corey, for noticing. Corey's a good friend of mine. He's the host of IVN via Chicago Cubs podcast. But we're talking FC Cincinnati tonight. We've got Bill Wolf back with us. Bill, our lone wolf man, was the lone wolf down in Florida last week as far as Cincinnati Soccer Talk goes. Bill, welcome back, bud.
Thanks. It was a good time though. There was some lonely nights and single dinner options going on, but still it was worth it. Great time hanging out with the team and the trainers and obviously the coach and watching some good soccer.
Yeah, we'll get to a lot of what you did down in Florida a little bit later on here in the program. Most likely after we visit with Coach Koch, who will be calling us here in just a few minutes. But we want to remind you that coming up on April 1st, we are hitting the road. Cincinnati Soccer Talk is taking a bus to Pittsburgh to watch FC Cincinnati play. And we need you to come with us. It's going to be a good time. It's your first chance to see FC Cincinnati in person in a regular season match, a game that counts before the home opener. So get your tickets today, CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/bus trip. They're $60 a piece. That includes your match ticket to the game in Pittsburgh. And we've got a special treat for you listeners out there. If you sign up before next Tuesday, that is March 7th, and this includes everybody who's already signed up as well, we will be giving away one free ticket on this trip. And so if you get signed up by Tuesday, March 7th, you'll be entered into a drawing to get an additional free ticket to bring a friend, a family member. And so we want you to go register today, CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/bus trip. It's going to be a good time. We're going to be tailgating at Pittsburgh. We're going to have food and drink. It's bring your own beer, but we're still going to have a good time. You'll be able to drink on the bus, which I know is a big selling point as well. So again, get your tickets, CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/bus trip. It's going to be a good time, right, gents?
Should be a blast. And you can drink on the way back too.
Yeah. Now, I hope you guys enjoy it. Take my ticket and put it to good use. I get to, luckily, well, sadly and happily, I get to go see my cousin graduate the Marine Corps. So pretty excited about that. But, everybody needs to go up there, sign up for the bus trip, fill up that bus. And we need to know sooner, else, if we don't fill up the bus, we got to cancel it. So we don't want to do that at all. So definitely get signed up before Wednesday. Also,
we want to acknowledge and big thank you and shout out to Rhinehouse for helping us out with this bus trip, a big sponsor of this trip. Go to rhinehouseotr.com. That's their website, and go check out Rhinehouse. I'm sure they'll be doing stuff this weekend with their watch parties for the away matches all season long. But big thank you to Rhinehouse for supporting us here on this trip. But again, get your tickets. It's going to be a good time. Usually the weather's pretty good April 1st. We're not joking around. CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/bus trip. We want you to join us on this trip to Pittsburgh to watch the orange and blue pummel the Riverhounds. CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/bus trip. Okay. We're waiting here just a few minutes. We're going to be visited by Coach Koch from FC Cincinnati. Kind of a surprise announcement a few weeks ago, and now he spent 1 week, a little over a week in charge of FC Cincinnati, guys. Didn't have the best results as far as the actual games down in Florida goes, but you could start to see the kind of what's the word? He's putting his style, his imprint on this team, Bill, and you had a chance to see it up close in person last week. And I know you're pretty excited about Coach Koch.
Oh, absolutely. And hopefully everybody got a chance to get out to the website, see the article that I wrote about him. And not just him specifically, but even just the feel of the team, the energy they had, the way training ran, everything just seems extremely efficient, very organized. Coach, he's not a guy who's going to walk into a room and just fill the room with his energy and personality. He's not a loud, boisterous character. But when you ask him a question, he is very articulate, very thoughtful. He definitely is somebody who has a heck of a pedigree. He's got 4 or 5 different license tracks and, Canadian licenses and South African licenses and UEFA licenses. And he's been coaching for 14 years or something. And I'm sure we'll go through all that when he gets on here. So I don't want to take away all the fun, but yeah, he is a coach. He's a teacher and a coach. And that was very apparent when I was down there.
Well, I would wish I would have been able to get the access that you had, and we want to thank FC Cincinnati for allowing you that access. I think they were absolutely fantastic in just allowing us to speak with the players. If you haven't checked out his videos that he's made of the new player interviews, I'd suggest you check it out, especially the Loose City one. To me, that was parts comedy, parts just awesome interview. So check that out. I think there was a little hazing involved there, maybe, Bill?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was what I was saying. If anybody's wondering about the mood of the team, there's a lot of fun and joking around. There's a lot of integration of the new components into the team, being the people. I don't want to say components like they're not people, but they're kidding around while one person's on camera. Other people are walking along behind them making faces. At one point, I was talking to I don't even remember who it was. It might have been the guys from Lou City, but like Nico came up behind me and was like standing like 2 inches from me. And I'm like, what the heck, And so, yeah, I mean, they're having a lot of fun. I saw Quinn carrying Bone off the field, literally lifting him up and walking him off the field like in his arms and just goofing around and laughing and having a good time. And so they're definitely light of spirit and coming together as a team, which is awesome to see. And then, we can, if you read my article, you also find out that once it's down to business on the field, the laughing and the joking goes away and it gets real serious. Which is also good. So you want to know that it's it's time to do things. So do I see that we have Coach Koch on the line now?
That's what you call a segue right there, Bill Wolf. That's right. Joining us now on the phone is the one and only Alan Koch, new head coach of FC Cincinnati. Coach, welcome to Cincinnati Soccer Talk.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on the new gig. Let's talk about your week down at IMG. Did it go as planned? Were you disappointed with some of the results, or was it more about just getting a chance to see the guys play and you can kind of work from there?
It's definitely a distinct process. The results really, to be honest, mean absolutely nothing. Nobody likes to lose, obviously, but I think in the big picture, wins or losses at this time of the year really mean very, very little. It was an opportunity this week for us to assess all the players. I gave everybody a lot of playing minutes so they can try to showcase themselves. It allowed us to get a good assessment of the group and see who are the guys that might be a step ahead at this time and see who are the guys that we have to work with a little bit extra to help them give themselves the best opportunity to play. So highly, highly productive. The games were good in the fact that we saw some good moments. We definitely saw some bad moments in those games too. And those are things that we're going to have to address as we move forward.
So we kind of got wind that there was a friendly recently with the U17 U.S. men's national team down there. Is that anything you can comment on?
Yeah, I can. We played them this morning. I think it was good for us to have a closed door game. There were no fans, no press, or anything like that. The US U17s have a huge pool of players. They put together a very, very good group. Today we played them in 3 25-minute segments. We played one group just for 25 minutes, and they were 1-0 up after their 25 minutes. And then we put another group in, and they played the second and third segments. Essentially, the second one was a 1-1 tie, and then we won the third segment 1-0. So it was a good performance. I think it was the first time since we've been down here we really played very, very well for an extended period. The first 25 minutes from start to finish were very, very good. The second segment, we had good and bad moments, and then the third one, we really got the ship going in the right direction again. So from a performance perspective, it was a great way to finish our time here in Florida, and nice to finish with a win, which obviously makes everybody feel good as we get ourselves ready to go to Sacramento.
Well, speaking of Sacramento, Coach, what do you expect or hope to see out of the squad on the West Coast this weekend? And then another follow-up we've been seeing from our listeners on Facebook is, will you play more of a starting 11 in this match, or would you continue that squad rotation that was been apparent in the first 3 or 4 now preseason matches?
We're going to play one group for an extended period. Is it our starting 11 or not? It's really too early to tell. We're still trying to figure out exactly the different pairings and develop relationships within the group and try to implement our system of play. But we are going to stretch the number of minutes that the players play. I think we did it very, very systematically. The first game here was for 2 groups of 45 minutes, and then the second game was one group of 60 and another group of 30, and then we flip-flopped that over in the third game. One group got 30 and 60. And then without saying too much about this morning, the group that's going to play on Saturday, for the most part, the guys that will start, they only played 25 minutes this morning, and the other guys played 50.
So, Coach, a few weeks ago when FC Cincinnati had a press conference, they were announcing 2 new signings, Gibby and Victor Manzare. Both of these guys kind of really pointed to you during that press conference about they were a big reason why they were in town and joining the club. So how did their week last week go? Is Gibby up to his is he ready to go? Is he going to be fully fit for week 1 in the USL regular season, or is he still trying to get back into playing shape?
know, it's funny. I don't think he's 100% just yet, but he scored again today. So he scored in 3 out of 4 games. And if we think he's not 100%, you might as well not get to 100% as long as he keeps his production up. But I think with a few more weeks, I think by the time the season starts, he should be flying. He's not match fit yet, so he cannot play at his high levels for an extended period. But he's just so dangerous. He's so imposing physically. He's a great connected player. He makes everybody else around him better. He's not completely sharp just yet, but we've got a few more weeks to help him get him there. And I feel very, very encouraged with what we've seen with him so far.
Well, Coach, if you take out the VAR, Oh, sorry. I was going to say if you took out the VAR, he'd have almost 4 goals this preseason. So he's been wonderful and a great sight to see after the loss of a goalie. So we absolutely love having him here this year.
Yeah. I think with the club losing Sean, obviously we've had to replace him. And is he going to be replaced by one player? Is he going to be replaced by a committee? I'd probably lean more towards saying a committee. We've got a good group of returning attacking players, and we've obviously brought in some good attacking players too. And you mentioned Victor earlier. Victor scored today too, so he'll take a little bit of confidence from that. A young player like him who has so much talent, and we're really going to have to work with him to help elevate his development. But he's come in hungry. He's willing to work hard, and he's buying into exactly what we want him to do.
So, Coach, let's go back in your history a little bit. You started at Baker University, then you went to Simon Fraser University, was ranked number 1 at a time, 2 school Final Fours, another NCAA tournament, and then you end up at Vancouver Whitecaps too, coaching there the past 2 seasons. Of course, last year going to the Western Conference Final. My question to you is how or what differences have you seen between your time at Vancouver or Vancouver, Whitecaps 2, and then your time so far at FC Cincinnati?
It's a good question, actually. I had a friend of mine, a coaching colleague, who asked me that exact same question the other day. I think a lot of people are obviously very, very curious to see how would you compare different groups where you've been. And I know the USL very, very well. Obviously, taking a young group last year, the Western Conference Final, was something I was incredibly proud of, to be honest. We managed to get everything we could out of that group of players. They were a younger group. They were newer professionals, players that we worked very, very hard with over a cycle to get them to that level. Here, I've inherited a group that's older, and they have some experience. And now we just have to get them into a system of play and make sure we can get the most out of them. But we're really doing the exact same thing, just in different markets and obviously different environments. But from what I've seen from our group so far, it's very, very similar to what I've seen in other environments. You get a group, you inherit the group, you do a quick assessment as quickly as possible. You see the players' strengths and weaknesses. You know what to reinforce. You know what to go in and work on individually with each player. And you try to push them as much so you can get everything out of them, and then create the environment and the structure that's going to allow them to be successful. And I firmly believe as a coach, it's our jobs to set the players up for success. If we have the infrastructure, the system of play, and we're working with them, players for the most part will respond to that very, very positively, and you can help them go as far as they can in the game.
So we've seen, in some of the games we've been able to watch, either in person in my case or in remote via the stream, you use the 4-1-4-1 a lot, almost exclusively this season, other than maybe one half. Is that kind of your preferred formation? Is that something we should expect to see a lot of in this season? And why do you like it so much?
Yeah, you're right. So far in preseason, we've tried the 4-1-4-1 the most. I've used the 4-2-3-1 in the past too. I think in modern day soccer, that's a system that a lot of coaches use. I also like the 4-4-2 or a 4-4-2 diamond. We've actually outlined to the players 3 different formations. We want them to be comfortable with all 3 formations. We may have to adapt how we play within the context of an individual game. We may have to do that over the course of the season. There might be different games where we have to adjust because certain formations are better suited to play against other formations. And obviously, you have to be very, very fluid within that, because at the end of the day, the formations are just numbers. It's actually how the players go out and embrace the opportunities that they get. But we have outlined 3 systems of play to the group. We have implemented 2 so far in the games. We'll hopefully get to the 3rd one at some stage in preseason. We are a little bit behind the 8 ball at this time, and we're playing a little bit of catch up. But I think we can get through all 3 hopefully before the season starts.
You mentioned the 4-4-2 formation, which is not one that we've seen so far. Do you envision, and I take this question from social media because I've seen it out there quite a bit, but do you envision the situation of having Victor and GB on the field at the same time?
Yeah, they could be. They're both good, exciting attacking players. Playing a 4-4-2, it's important the 2 that play up front together have a very good understanding and a good relationship. So we certainly wouldn't just throw it out there. It'd be something we'd work on in training to make sure whoever plays up front has a good understanding. And it could be Victor and GB together. It could be Daryl Fordyce playing up there. It could be Andy Craven. It could be a variety of different guys in the group that have the ability to play like that. But it would be very, very important if we go that way to make sure the 2 that play up front together have a great relationship and understanding of how to play off of each other.
How much does personnel kind of dictate the style of play, or at least the formation, Coach? Because I mean, obviously, we've seen with the additions coming into the squad this year, it feels like we've got a lot of forwards. We've also got a lot of midfielders. Does the personnel kind of dictate the formation, or is it just kind of a matter of both?
It is a matter of both, but your personnel will dictate everything. I've thankfully been a coach at a variety of different levels. I've been coached in college and with an MLS club, and obviously now with the USL club in our current position. You learn different things, and I've seen coaches that have tried to take cookie cutter approaches and say, well, I coach this way in one place, and I'm just going to go and coach that way somewhere else because it worked in one place and it'll work in the other place. And that's not the case. Sometimes you have to adjust it based on the personnel you have. And I learned that the last few years, working as a scout for the Whitecaps MLS team, I was trying to help find players for the MLS team. And then I was the head coach of our USL team, and I was mandated at certain times to play the exact same way as the first team. And the Vancouver Whitecaps will have a player like Kakuta Mane, who's now been called up to the U.S. national team as a winger, who's absolutely lightning quick. He's an incredibly dangerous player in transition. Well, if I was looking at my second team group in the USL, we didn't have a player that had that sort of pace in my first year. So it was very, very difficult to take a cookie-cutter approach of saying, we're going to play a certain way. We expect to play with an attacking winger in the system. And then you get to another group and you actually don't have that player. It's very, very difficult to do that. So I have to be very, very flexible. And I think that's why the last 10 days have been very, very important in terms of assessing the group. We've played everybody a lot to see their strengths and weaknesses. I think I have a good idea now of who can play in certain ways and who can embrace different potential positions within systems. We've outlined the systems. Now we've got to put the personnel within that system and make sure they embrace the roles that they get given.
So, Coach, our general manager, Jeff Birding, is outspoken, very aggressive, passionate person. I want to get your thoughts on his comments about scoring 62 goals this year. You think, does that make you sweat a little bit as a head coach of this squad?
Not at all, and I'll tell you why. Because for me, 62 goals, we can look at however many points it's going to take to win the league, make the playoffs. To be quite frank, and I know where Jeff's coming from when he says that, and I completely respect it. But all we have to worry about as coaches and players is the next game. And the next game is about scoring more goals than the team you play against. And once you get through that game, then you focus on the game after that. In terms of the big picture and the number that it takes, yeah, we have to have a long-term vision and a plan. How many goals we'll score this year, who knows? We brought in a couple good attacking threats, and we have some good returning players. So I feel very, very confident we're going to score a lot of goals. How many? To be quite frank, I'm not really worried about it. All our focus is it's going to be one game at a time. You get through that game and you focus on the next one. And obviously the goal within the context of each game is to make sure you score more than the other team. So I don't feel any pressure about that because I don't even think about it, to be honest.
Good answer. So we're seeing a lot of comments on Facebook right now. People are curious. When you first came to the club, obviously your title was, director of scouting, and they talked about you as being involved with the academy. Obviously, the academy is an important component of our MLS bids. So do you still have an active part in building the academy, and how does that work with you now in the head coach role?
Yeah, this has all happened obviously very, very suddenly in a transition that unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, in this game and in professional sports, sometimes things happen and you're the benefactor, I guess, of situations. And I feel very, very fortunate to receive the opportunity that I have under these circumstances. And now, to be quite frank, I'm having to focus on being the head coach of this club. And we're definitely a club that's growing. I think having somebody responsible for scouting and analytics, like I came in with, and somebody having a vision of how we're going to grow the academy is very, very important. But I think now it's very, very soon after this transition. And it's something that with Jeff and multiple other people within the club, we'll have discussions in terms of how we're going to move forward. I think putting an academy in place as we move forward and trying to work and bring in some good quality local young players is something that's going to be very, very important for us as we grow the club. So I certainly don't think those will be areas that'll be neglected now in the transition, but they're going to take a bit of time for us to obviously survey things and make sure we do things in the right way.
Is your assistant coach Nate Kish, is he backfilling a little bit, at least on the scouting side?
I think thankfully we managed to get a lot of the scouting done in the off season. I think we got it really going in December and January. So scouting wise, we're not having to do too much right now. Obviously, having been in this game for many, many years and in multiple different places, I have a network that I can tap into. So we're definitely continually in touch with all the different agents and different people that we know in different places. Our support staff are working with us, obviously, and I use them as a sounding board in terms of which direction we may go with different players. But Nathan and a couple other guys within our structure are all supportive and helping as we move forward.
Well, I know things are starting to wrap up a little bit down in Florida, and I just wanted to get a sense on what you thought the team, where you saw their greatest improvement was the last week and a half or so down at IMG.
I think, unfortunately, for the viewers at home, because today was a close game, our biggest step forward was our game today. And granted, we were playing against younger players, but we're playing against a very, very talented group. And we saw a lot of promising moments in the games today. And really, a lot of the work that we put in those 3 games started coming together. It wasn't a polished performance by any means, but there were a lot of good quality extended moments in and out of possession. I think the team is really starting to understand how we're asking them to defend. And then once you figure out that system and you build from that, it gives you a framework that actually allows you then to start possessing the ball and taking care of the ball and figuring out how we're going to attack. So we saw a lot of a good structure today in terms of how to defend, and really saw some great opportunities for us to create goal-scoring opportunities. I think we saw those in the games over this last week, but we also saw a lot of moments that we have to address. And to be quite frank, that's to be expected. We're in the preseason. This is the time when you're really trying to put it all together, and it takes time to grow and come together as a group. But I really, really feel positive after the last 10 days. I feel like the group's come together on and off the field, and we're in a good place with, I think, 3.5 weeks until the start of the season. We know we still got a lot of work to do, and we'll get that work done. But by the time the season starts, we should be good to go.
So obviously here, in the lead up to the preseason, there was a lot of new personnel that came onto the team. A lot of talk about midfielders, forwards, not a lot of attention to the actual back line and the defense. Obviously, we brought in Matt Boehner, but how do you feel about the depth right now of our defense versus, for instance, the midfield and the strikers?
I think defensively, between Austin Berry, Harrison Delbridge, and Paul Nicholson, we've got 3 very, very good center backs. I feel confident with all 3 of them. We're very, very close to bringing in a 4th one. And I think between those 4 players and our center back positions, we have 4 players that we can utilize throughout the course of the season. I think all 4 players, while we've been down here, have actually had some very, very good moments, and then also had moments that show that we've had a long off season, and they have to fine tune their skills and get themselves where they need to be. So within that group, I'm very, very confident with them. It does take time to put a defense together. And I think that was evident in our games this week. It wasn't certainly the back four's fault, predominantly as a group. When you concede a goal, it's not just one player or one unit. It's all of us together. So we definitely made mistakes and weren't up to par in situations in those games. But I feel very, very confident with that group. And then with our right backs, we've obviously brought in Matt Boehner, and we have Pat McMahon. They both got along and done very, very well as the last 10 days have come along, and I've seen significant growth in both of their performances, which is pleasing to see. Left backs, we've had Tyler Polak, who's continued on the strong season he had last year, and I think we can get even more out of him this year. Derek Luke, unfortunately, is still rehabbing, and looking forward to getting him back into the group as quickly as possible. We have had to play Aaron Walker down here out of position, just to make sure that we were able to put out two different groups in games. I don't want anybody to play an extended time period, so I don't anticipate that Aaron will play as a left back for us. But within our back four, I feel very, very comfortable. We have 8 quality defenders that can help us during the course of the season.
So, Coach, you've been all around the country, and you've been, you're originally from South Africa. You've spent some time in Canada. My question to you is: have you tried the Cincinnati delicacy of Skyline chili?
Yeah, it's bizarre that you asked me that. I think within my first week, I actually went and I tried it. And to be quite frank, I'd never heard of it before. But I have a very, very good friend. Him and his wife are good friends of my wife and I. And he's from Ohio. And he told me that when I get to Cincinnati, I have to go try Skyline. And I went there and I had it once. I enjoyed it. And I will probably allow myself to only have it once a year. But I look forward to getting back there next year again.
That's a staple question on the show. And I think, guys, is he like the first guy to actually
He is
say
the first
he
one.
has?
He is. Congratulations, Coach. I know you're really honored by that.
You would be shocked right now,
I
Coach.
appreciate it.
The reactions coming in right now on Facebook are crazy. I think you just made a lot of friends. So that's awesome.
To be honest, I've found people in Cincinnati are super friendly, super genuine. I really have enjoyed my various times in different places in the Midwest, and I know I've only been in Cincinnati for a short amount of time, but people have been very, very supportive, and I'm looking forward to working with everybody as we move forward and continue to grow this club.
So it's just you right now in Cincinnati, correct? You also have some family, and they're still back in Vancouver. Is there a plan for them to move to Cincinnati?
Yeah, we'd like to get everybody to Cincinnati. We've got to figure out, obviously, with our daughters, and she's a sophomore in high school. So we'll do an assessment when she gets to the school year, and then hopefully we can get the family over in the summertime. But we'll have to see if we can figure that out.
Yeah, it's tough in the high school ages. Well, tell them we have a great.
But thankfully, go ahead. Sorry.
You should go, Coach. You're on here for people to listen to you, not me.
No, I think. Well, I feel lucky to have a family that supports the career, and obviously in this business, you move, and that's part of it. But it'd be a nice place to move to in Cincinnati, that's for sure.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you spending some time with us. I know you're a busy man with everything going on down in Florida. I'll get you out of here with this question, and I know a lot has been made over the last year about Cincinnati and the soccer attendance. I just want to know, how pumped are you to witness what is the Bailey and the atmosphere and everything that goes down at Nippert Stadium here in 2017?
Yeah, we cannot wait. It's it's the beauty of being part of something special. I think our players and our staff here are working incredibly hard to prepare our group for the season. And I think that's one of the things we've actually spoken about as a group, is we know we play on the road to start off the season, but we cannot wait to come home and play at Nippert and play in front of the Bailey and all the different fan groups. It's something that's very, very special. And we really want to make our home base. It has to be, the fans are a part of us, and every game we play, we go out representing them and the club. it's imperative that we play at home. We all go out together, and we go out with the cause of getting 3 points in every game we play.
Good stuff, Coach. Well, again, we appreciate you spending some time with us. Best of luck coming up against Sacramento, and we're really looking forward to seeing you. A lot of us are going to be making the trip to Pittsburgh to come watch you guys there on April 1st in that second on road match. So we're going to be making a bus trip up there to come support you. And we're really looking forward to seeing what's in store for the new look FC Cincinnati squad here in 2017. Coach, appreciate you being with us.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate the support. Thanks a million.
All right, it's Coach Koch from FC Cincinnati, Coach Alan Koch, joining us here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. Good to get his thoughts, and really excited to see where this club is heading here in 2017. Phone lines are open, 513-399-KICK, 513-399-KICK. Have your thoughts heard here on this very program. What did you make of what Coach had to say? What did you make of the last, I guess really you can say 4 preseason matches for FC Cincinnati? We want to hear your thoughts, 513-399-KICK. All right, Bill, you had a chance to go to Florida last week. Let's talk about your trip. Let's talk about the video interviews. Yeah, I'm sure it looked like you had a blast putting those all together, and it seemed like a couple of the guys were having some fun with it as well.
Yeah, it was just a great time. I mean, it was essentially a vacation for me, right? I took time off my paying job and went down to Florida. I was hoping for some better weather when I first got there. It was a little rainy and chilly, but by the end, the sun had come out and we actually hit 90 degrees one day. So the weather was all over the place, but honestly, what just made it special was just how relaxed it was. That they really opened up the team to me. I came in there and every single person there was extremely welcoming, extremely accepting, extremely helpful. I have to give a shout out to Matt Schisler. He's the team manager. He was just absolutely phenomenal down there. Fumi kind of put me in touch with him. She's a media relations person for people who don't know. And, I said, hey, if I could talk to a few players, that'd be awesome. And she said, yeah, talk to Matt and he'll take care of you. And he was, like, what can I do and how can I help? And that's just the attitude the whole team kind of has. So, it was a lot of fun and everybody was, introducing themselves, and I met trainers and of course, Dan McNally was down there, director of operations, and just lots and lots of faces and names. And I got to kind of meet some personalities and get a sense of how everything works. And it was a lot of fun to see, how many people are involved and what all they do to make this happen. And then of course I got, in touch with a lot of the players, some people I, knew very little about, and a chance to talk to them, and, they didn't know who I was. So, some of them were kind of like, I'll just answer questions. I don't know who this weird guy is pointing this thing at me, but others had a lot of fun. And like I said, the spirit of the team was pretty high. And usually I was doing it either before or after training. So they were, all kind of joking around and kidding around, and they'd make faces at each other. They'd stand behind me and, I don't know what they were doing, but, the guys would, they'd start like laughing and staring at their feet because they didn't want to like burst out laughing on camera. And so, but it was good. That was, at one point a ball almost hit us, and it's like, this is live. Let's just go with the guys and have fun. And it was neat to get some of the personalities and get a sense of these people and how they're all, going to add to the team and add to the character of the team. So
I think my favorite response of the week was when Kadeem Daker said that he really enjoys Kroger. Like that was his Cincinnati establishment.
Right too.
Yeah. Yep. And Quinny was sitting there and he's like, Kroger's?
If you could have seen me when I'll inside information, I was the one who edited the videos that Bill put together. So I'm sitting here at the screen watching this interview, and he throws out Kroger. I lost it. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Well done. If you want to check out those interviews, you can go to our website, CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. Bill caught up with Victor Mansoret. He caught up with ZB Fall, Kadeem Dakers and Aiden Quinn, Marco Dominguez. Am I missing anybody else, or was that all of them?
No, Craven and Fordyce.
That's right. The first one, Andy Craven and Daryl Fordyce.
Yeah,
how can I forget those guys? Yeah, those. Andy Craven was pretty funny too. I don't know. I'll just throw the little hint out there. He kind of accepted Joseph's challenge to a video game. So,
yep.
Now we have to make that happen.
He also did not know about our mascot.
Oh, Sprinkles.
Right. Sprinkles the donut.
Exactly.
And he won't see the mascot because he'll be in the locker room at halftime.
He's going to have to poke his head out the door, though. He was too excited when he found out. So for those who don't know, Andy Craven is a self-professed donut lover. So, on his Twitter account, he mentions that. And, he had no idea that we had a sponsorship with Dunkin' Donuts and that we had this mascot of Sprinkles who comes out and does free kicks at halftime. So he was psyched.
Well, you did a great job all week, and I'm sure you were really thrilled to come back up to Ohio into this lovely weather we've got going on. But
no, I mean, yes.
Right. Well, you did a good job, and it's funny. I had the week off myself for other reasons. My wife was out of town, so I had to be home with the kids. And if I'd have planned it right or thought about it, I could have just gone down and hung out with you and Mike Hudson, who was there as well, who made the trip down. How many did you see? Any other FC Cincinnati fans there?
Yes, there was some. They tended to be a little older. Probably, people who had a little bit less need to get the bills paid or whatever. So yeah, there was some down there, but I think a lot of them were actually family members and such. I'm pretty sure, like Jimmy McLaughlin's grandparents were down there. I think his parents were down there. So there was a lot of that. So, but it was good. I think the only one that I recognized at least was Mike and his brother Pat. And I was able to catch up with them a little bit. Had breakfast with Mike the last day before we both headed out of town. So
Mike's a good dude. I enjoy Mike, his company. We hung out in the Bailey I guess last summer during one of the matches. Good stuff there. And again, congratulations, great week, and really, really thrilled with what you did with all the videos. You did a good job. So kudos.
Thank you. It was fun.
We've got phone lines open, 513-399-KICK, 513-399-KICK. We want to hear from you. We know you're watching. We could see it. Call us. We want to talk FC Cincinnati. You have questions about the formation. You have questions about the personnel. You got questions about our bus trip? Call us, 513-399-KICK. All right, so last night was the very first fan council meeting, Bill, and you are on that fan council. How did it go? You don't have to give details, obviously, but how did it go?
Yeah. Well, first off, I can't give any real details. And people who are kind of familiar with how it works understand that. The very first thing we did after we got there and everybody said, hello, how are you doing, was we signed a non-disclosure. So essentially what happens in the council stays in the council. It's like Vegas. We can't talk about it, and there's a reason for that. But just my overall kind of comments on it, this was a good group of people. I knew about half the people that were there. Some of them I knew by face and not by name, and some people I knew by name and not by face. But when you put it all together, I realized I knew about half the people there. For people who've read the article about the council and the people who were on it, they actually decided to expand it a little bit. So it's a little larger than they originally had intended. I think they decided that there was enough people that they wanted to get involved, that they brought some more in, maybe some extra diversity. I'm not sure what the intention was, but it grew a little bit. I need to give a special shout out to Jack and I hope Patty. I hope those are their names. But they were sitting next to me and the council. They were both CST supporters. They've been listening to our podcast and mentioned that. So it was nice to get, some positive feedback. And so thanks, guys. Good to talk to you.
Patty is not my mom, right?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
And I could have a name wrong too, and if I do, I apologize. But that's what I recall as the names. I'm really bad at remembering names. I get them after 3 or 4 tries, but we've only had one meeting, so. But basically, I just felt like the group overall showed a strong interest in growing soccer in the Cincinnati community. It wasn't like a bunch of people who were like, ooh, hey, we get to come here because, we filled out some form and now we're special. There seemed to be a true interest in what could we do. And just to make it clear to listeners, what is this council if people don't really understand it? I just want to make it really clear. This is not some sort of inner circle. This is not like we gather in the secret place and the front office tells us all the secrets and now we're in the know. There's no value in that to them, right? what they need is feedback, and they could keep a lot of secrets, and they could try to decide everything themselves and maybe make mistakes. So what they're trying to do is to find a small group of people, get us to sign some contracts to say that we'll keep things hush hush, share some things with us, and then get our opinions. And if there isn't that two-way communication, this council really has no value to FCC. So just keep that understood, that this is really about us as a council trying to represent the fans of the club and to help the club do a better job of supporting us. Let's see, what else can I say about it? Obviously I can't say what was shared at all. But I think people who know me know that I've been a pretty big supporter of this club, a believer in the organization. Somebody who thinks that the club is going in the right direction, is doing the right things. Again, I can't say anything that happened, but what I can say is that I'm a bigger believer now. So I truly think that this club is going the right direction, and that there's good things coming. So if there's any value, in my opinion, believe in this club. We're going to do great things. So,
very cool. It's one of those things now. I kind of wish I lived in Cincinnati so that I could have tried to have gotten on that council. Not to say that I would have gotten on it, but I would have tried. So that's and I hear you talk about the meeting itself, not details, but talk about the meeting and how excited you are. Bums me out. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. And it's just a great group of people, because you've got all these fans who just love soccer and love Cincinnati all together, excited. So one other thing, just, one part I can share about the meeting is, at the end of the meeting, this is certainly not confidential in any way, the club did, just kind of remind us of the upcoming events that they've got. And they said, as supporters, fans, please, of course, come to all of our stuff, but also share it. So taking that moment just to kind of, throw out there some of the stuff that the club is thinking about, what they're viewing as upcoming events. Some of which I didn't realize, but obviously everybody knows about Mad Tree this Saturday, the Sacramento game, the third kit reveal. They are going to give away a kit. So I guess if I understand it correctly, is when you show up there, you'll have the option to pre-order kits there. So you better put your name on the list and be one of the first people to get a kit when they come in, or jersey, I should say, not a whole kit. And then they will give away one at that day to somebody who's there. So great event. If you've been to Mad Tree yet, you know what it's like. If you haven't, it's a really nice new brewery, version 2.0 of the original, but good place. The other one they mentioned that kind of I didn't realize was a week after that, on September, my gosh, Saturday, March 11th, a week later, not months later. So March 11th is the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Cincinnati. So it's not an FCC event per se, but they're planning on marching, and they're going to have players marching in the parade, and they're actually asking the supporters groups and the drum section to come and turn it into like a full up, Nippert style march. So I don't know if we'll get that done, but if we do, it should be a real blast. It's not a real long parade, but we should be able to get, the drums going, and hopefully, 100 or so supporters, if we're lucky, chanting and singing, and just giving the crowd a sense of what a match day is like. So they are looking at it as a chance to maybe show off a little bit of how into soccer this city really is, and maybe to get a few more people interested. March 16th is the Rheingeist meet and greet. So anybody who did that last year knows what that was about, where you got to go and meet, the players, get autographs. That blew up last year. It was way longer than anybody, or way bigger than anybody expected it to be. They didn't expect that many people to come. So this year they're doing it a little different. Last year, I guess the players sat at tables, and people kind of lined up and got autographs, and that's kind of boring for the players. So this year they're actually going to have the players mingling and moving around with the crowd. They're going to set up sort of stations, as I understand it, so that they'll move from station to station, so that you don't have to chase them around, but they'll be in areas. And then the part that I didn't realize, and this is why I bring it up, is there's going to be a VIP section for season ticket holders to give them a little bit more access to the players, but also for people who pre-ordered the book. So if you ordered the FCC book and you didn't get it signed because you were waiting for the pre-order party, that is the Rheingeist meet and greet. So if you come to the Rheingeist meet and greet with your pre-order book, you get into a VIP area where you'll have more access to the players and can get the signatures more easily. And then, of course, they also, like the St. Patrick's Day parade, they're going to march in the Reds opening day parade. That's kind of lower key. Obviously, we're not going to come in there marching with drums and stuff. It's about the Reds. So it's not about FCC. It's kind of more of a tip of the hat to the Reds. But certainly, they'd love to have people come. They're very open to this, concept of, hey, we're here marching the parade. Come and be with us. So they're just letting the supporters know that they'd love to be joined. So.
Well, I think March must be like parade month for Cincinnati because obviously you got Bachfest going on this weekend. Yep. And I know one of those guys who's really excited about Bachfest is our very own Boston Brazel, and he joins us now on the phone. Hopefully he will keep it clean this week. Boston, welcome to the program.
Hey, I was listening. It's supposed to be on tonight, but I had some storm issues here at the house. You guys did good. I'd say it's a 9. If I was on the whole time, I'd give you a 10. But
you're hilarious.
No,
funny.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Bachfest. If you are downtown for the parade or afterwards, I'll be down there. I think Brad Weigel might be down there. Just come find us. We'll be wearing our Cincinnati Soccer Talk blue hoodies and say hi. Hang out, tell us how we can make the show better, or tell us that we're awesome. Either will work. And if you're lucky, maybe we'll buy you a beer. But yeah, come see us.
We're getting some questions on Facebook, Boston. They're wondering about their mugs.
I could bring those down there. I'm bringing some parade goodies for Dean Stad. So we will be handing out little stress balls like we did last year to the kids along the route and to anyone else. It's always fun to throw those up to the windows, too, for the people on the third floor hanging out.
Are you going to behave at Bachfest, Boston?
No, that's my one holiday. My wife knows where I really let loose, and I like to have fun. That's a Cincinnati only type of holiday, and you got to live it up. 25 years this year. I gotta party 25 more times.
All right. Bri, would you like to add something?
Oh, no, I'm just jealous I can't go down there because I'm not really supposed to drink with this sling on yet. So you guys have fun.
Is that because you can't use your hand properly to drink, or
that and the painkillers and all that fun stuff? But yeah, so have fun down there, man. Definitely
make you feel better.
don't kill anybody with those little mini balls when you're throwing them out half plastered. So have fun though.
Well, they say you shouldn't drink on painkillers because it's actually too much fun, and doctors are pretty anti-fun.
Yeah,
that's my medical advice.
That's what it is. That's funny.
All right, Boston. Well, we're glad you got power back tonight, and hopefully we'll have you back on the show next week.
All righty. See you.
Have fun, Boston. See you. Oh, man. So, Bri, Dienestadt obviously doing a lot with Bachfest this week. I know you're a DI guy. Fill us in a little bit.
Well, it's kind of their thing. It's their coming out party last year. They really kind of put themselves on the map, marching in the Bachfest parade last year, and I think they're going for even a bigger turnout this year. So Friday night, just make sure to go on their website, check out all the specifics, and even if you're not a member of DI, just get out there and have fun. I mean, there's so many events this weekend with FC Cincinnati. I mean, you could honestly make an FC Cincinnati weekend. I know Brad and Boston were joking about getting a hotel room downtown and just living it up both Friday and Saturday, since I think they're planning on attending both. So definitely, guys, get out there and check it out.
So while we've been recording, Bri, the Bailey Bastards have made an announcement tonight as well. You pumped about I saw you've given them some Twitter love tonight.
All I'm saying is I'm extremely appreciative that they put me on their scarf. I did have to shave the beard off, but putting the ginger with the beard and my arm muscles and everything, I'm so privileged to be on their inaugural scarf. So thank you guys.
It looks good. I'm looking at the pictures now on Twitter at Bailey Bastards. That's a really nice scarf.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's sweet. Plus, these are West Side guys, so I definitely love that. They hang out at Bucketheads, and that was my spot for the longest time before I moved over here to Coleraine. But yeah, I mean, it's good. It's another great supporters group that is taking things seriously and just trying to have a good time and relate with people. So I know some people give FC Cincinnati some grief for having a lot of supporters groups, but as you'll know, you'll get to meet them a little bit more next week when we talk to them live. But yeah, I mean, they're a great group and they're doing some good things.
They're going to look real good here in the studios, Bailey Bastards, if you're listening.
Yeah.
And just because you wear a scarf with a ginger on it doesn't mean it's stealing your soul, people. I see what you're saying here on social media. It's not true. I'm a day walker. I don't know if you know the difference. I can tan a little bit, so I also do have a soul. But Brad might be a ginger. So
that's funny. I think that's a good spot to get out of here on. Your final thoughts, Brian Weigel?
I'm really excited to see what we're going to run into this weekend with Sacramento. I believe they're losing their leading goal scorer from last season, but they did bring in two stellar forwards. I think that both leading scorer from not OCB, but Orange County Blues. And there's another leading scorer that they brought in. So they should be really good up top. I think their weakness is going to be on the defensive side. We're going to be doing some combined stories with Indomitable City Soccer and Josh Beeman over there. And I believe Kyle Kepner as well. So definitely stay tuned to our website and theirs. And we will have some added content for you this week.
Good stuff. As always, Brian, I hope you get well soon. Hopefully. How long till you can actually use your arm again?
I'll get this sling officially off in 3 more weeks.
Oh,
but
I'll be here before you know it.
But yeah, I think they said it's a 16-week process, so that'll be fun.
Well, again, we appreciate all of your efforts this week, and yeah, looking forward to next week's show. Bill Wolf, your final thoughts as we get out of here tonight?
Still not going to give Brian a sound effect yet, huh?
He has one. I'm being nice.
Oh. He's injured, so we can't use his sound effect. Yeah. So last final thoughts for me. I'll just sum up what I've already said, which is I'm really excited about this year. I think we've got some great players. I think I'm really excited about what I see out of Coach Koch, and also just feel like the team, the club itself is moving in the right direction. So. Things are looking good.
Yes, they are. My final thoughts this week, go get your tickets for our bus trip. We've got to get the bus filled. If we can't get it filled, and I mean soon, we might have to cancel the trip. Right now, we have sold 17 seats on the bus trip. We have 56 seats available. Well, total on the bus. So you do the math. We need to sell some tickets. CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/bus trip. We want to see you in Pittsburgh. It's going to be a good time. It's always good to go watch a Cincinnati team knock off a Pittsburgh team, right? So let's go do it. April 1st, CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/bus trip. Also, want to give a big shout out and special thanks to the Women's Fund of the Greater Cincinnati Foundation. They've been a big supporter of our show the last few weeks. Big thanks to all the support that they've given us. Get your tickets for the big talk and the big speech coming up from Abby Wambach on March 25th, CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/Abby. If you want to support the show, you absolutely can become an episode captain. You want to take part in our Growler Cup. Growler Cup's going to be a good time. We've got a lot of competitors right now, and we've got our hands full this season. If you want to become a part of the Growler Cup, go help us out at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/support. Cincinnati Soccer Talk is an SPNT production. For more information about our other podcasts, log on to spnt.tv. And as always, check out the latest and greatest surrounding FC Cincinnati over at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. So for Bill Wolf and Brian Weigel, I'm Subs, reminding you to watch your tackles, and we'll catch up with you next week.